Taiwan, baby.
Taiwan.
To this day.
To this day. To this day.
To this day.
We're covering today's top boxing news.
After the fight, Deontay Wilder said that his costume was too heavy and it wore his legs down, and that was the reason he lost.
Don't make an excuse. Take the defeat. If someone's going to get hurt, someone's not going to get hurt. That's real facts of boxing. The real facts of boxing is once the fight is over and you say, well, I'm not making no excuse, but that's an excuse. You know damn well if you put all that shit on and walk into the ring, that's dumb. Straight up, that's dumb. Who would wear all that for Black History Month? What did that represent? That's just an excuse. Listen, you spent all that money on that costume and you blamed it on your legs? Nah, my man. You gotta learn how to box.
That is two-division champion Michael Moorer with some very no-nonsense perspectives in regards to Wilder versus Fury 2, Wilder's subsequent defeat, and the subsequent explanations that ensued thereafter.
Excuses.
It's rather ridiculous.
That's what they were.
For a professional fighter in what is such a grueling profession, such a grueling sport, the sport of boxing, where we often see fighters come into fights with injuries and have to battle through them.
Yeah.
Sometimes guy breaks a hand.
Gaddy.
Sometimes guy gets jaw broken.
Ali.
Times guy might, dislocate a shoulder.
George Gross.
Somehow, all these varying instances, those fighters battled through those injuries, which are far more gruesome than what Wilder was describing in his situation.
Some of them.
Still secure the victories, whereas Wilder would have the boxing community believe that if he went out there and looked the way that he looked, it has more to do with his costume and less to do with the 270-pound man
Opposite the ring of him.
Let me tell you something. People show you who they are all the time. Their strength of character, or the lack thereof, is ever present if you're paying attention.
Paying attention?
Wilder said what he said. He said what he said as a means to explain away what was a crushing defeat. He was embarrassed. And he said what he said to deprive Tyson Fury of the credit he deserved. Why do you think Wilder's saying that he doesn't recognize Tyson Fury as the heavyweight champion? Where do you think that sentiment comes from? He doesn't want to give that guy credit for what he did.
That's why.
If he had any character, strength of character, he would accept that Tyson Fury was the better man the night of the fight, as to reach some form of catharsis.
Pleasure.
Come to terms with what happened and begin the rebuilding process. But Wilder, being who he is, doesn't want to give Tyson Fury credit for what happened. That's why it's become a virtual cornucopia of excuses and blame games ever since that second fight took place, ever since all of that happened. According to Wilder, it's the costume and the snakes in the grass. According to Wilder's fans, it's the gloves, the gloves that Wilder made no mention of.
Bad, man.
It was anything and everything that they can think of, but what it wasn't was Tyson Fury, right?
Right.
Wasn't him. He didn't beat Wilder.
No.
A lot of things beat Wilder, but Tyson Fury wasn't one of them.
No.
Wilder's explanations, excuses if you will, they don't seem to sit well with a lot of people. They don't sit well with Paulie Malignaggi. They don't sit well with Roy Jones Jr., and apparently they don't sit well with Michael Moorer either.
They don't.
I mean, why do you think that is? If it sounds ridiculous, me or you, attributing a loss like that to a costume. If it sounds ridiculous to me and you, the spectators, in what is a spectator sport, just imagine how utterly ridiculous it sounds to those who have engaged, participated in said sport.
Not throwing any punches, and depending on one punch, the right hand, you'll never survive in boxing because you're exposed now. He can't take a punch now. He'll hit you and break your jaw, but he can't take a punch.
According to division champion Michael Moorer, former heavyweight champion Michael Moorer. Heavyweight champion, the same as Deontay Wilder was a heavyweight champion. But according to Michael, trying to navigate throughout the sport of boxing, relying on a single punch, one sole punch, the big right hand, you're not going to make it. And yet, somehow,
Wilder did.
Through some device, some method, Deontay Wilder, this guy's had, 40-something professional fights? He's just now suffering his first defeat. So we have to reconcile what Michael is saying
Wilder's career
with what we've seen from Deontay Wilder, that this is his primary method of operation, relying solely on the right hand in the absence of nuanced, honed boxing skills, boxing acumen. That Deontay Wilder is very much the kind of fighter that Michael Moorer is describing, but Deontay Wilder is only now suffering his first professional loss. And, well, it could be because of what I always told you. They matched this guy very carefully throughout the entirety of his career. For those of you that want a more in-depth analysis, talked about it in the previous video, and I'll leave the link to that video, those videos, in the description box.
You know, the guy beat you. Over and done. There's another chance for you to avenge yourself. That's it.
To that, Deontay Wilder himself wants to reassure his fans, but he's not making any excuses as he issues out an ominous warning.
Deontay Wilder has assured his fans he's not trying to make any excuses following a crushing defeat to Tyson Fury back in February.
He was quoted as saying, "The sound of the first bell, it was like I wasn't even there, for real," explained Wilder to the PBC podcast. "I don't know how to explain it. I just wasn't there."
Where were you?
That's all I can tell you. I just wasn't there. My whole body, everything. But it's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Trust me. I'm just looking forward to getting back in there. I'll do what I gotta do. I don't gotta say much. I don't want people to feel like I'm making excuses or anything like that. I'm happy, I'm in full health, and I'm coming back stronger than ever. I mean, what the hell is that if it's not making excuses? What do you mean you weren't there? Where were you then?
Huh?
What are you trying to imply? What inferences do you want people to make based on what you're openly saying to the public? You're telling the public, you're telling your fans, you're telling your critics, you're telling the boxing community that you weren't there.
Oh.
What do you mean by that? I'll tell you what I think, and it's what I told you before.
What?
Perhaps you guys out there, ahead of the first fight and ahead of the second fight, perhaps you guys out there viewed Tyson Fury as one of the top 5, maybe even the top 3, maybe even the top heavyweight in the division.
Perhaps.
While you guys may have been of that opinion, Deontay Wilder was not. And that is indicative in how he chose to address Tyson Fury in the build-up of the second fight. Do you guys out there honestly believe that Deontay Wilder chose Tyson Fury in the first fucking place because he felt that that guy was one of the top guys in the division? Is that why you think he chose that guy?
It's not.
This is what Deontay Wilder thought about that guy. This is what Deontay Wilder really thought, really felt about Tyson Fury as an opponent option.
Don't ever forget, when I found you, you was strung out on coke. When I found you, you was like a big house, contemplating about killing yourself. So don't you ever forget who brought you to big time boxing. I drugged you back. I brought you back. I provided food and put food on your table for your family to eat. And I'm doing it for the second time.
Oh, perhaps they wanted to give you the appearance that this was a case of the best versus the best. But as far as Wilder was concerned, he found Tyson Fury. He wasn't at his best.
You picked him.
Recovering from substance abuse, mental health issues, and obesity. Guy who was strung out on coke. You don't figure that this is the guy that's going to give you a run for your money. How could he? He's not at his best. He's a bent house.
Remember?
You don't figure that this guy is going to be the one that stops you. That Wilder, in many ways, got more than what he bargained for with Tyson Fury. Because what he wasn't bargaining for was a guy who was all in his prime and at his best. What he was bargaining for was a guy who was strung out on coke, recovering from mental health issues and obesity.
That's it.
Who, even at his best, wasn't known to be a particularly big puncher in spite of his very imposing size.
You can't punch. I don't know what you talking about, knocking somebody in the second round. You ain't never knocked nobody in no second round. You got pillows for fists. Hello? Can you talk? Cat got your tongue? Tissue in your mouth?
Tyson Fury, at his best, wasn't known as a puncher. The last thing that Deontay Wilder expected to come from all of this is that Tyson Fury would actually beat him, as he didn't view him as being one of the best fighters. Not at that time.
He picked him.
So when it all goes sideways for you, the way that it went sideways for Deontay Wilder, both of those fights, you have the first fight, it goes the distance where it shouldn't. You're expected to take this guy out. You're expected to be able to stay in character against Tyson Fury, who's in many ways a far better boxer than you are, but he's not known for being a very big puncher.
I'm lying.
Fight goes the distance, it gets scored a draw, you endorse it, you want to believe it, and there are those out there that want to help you believe it. You go into the second fight.
You can't punch. I don't know what you talking about, knocking somebody in the second round. You ain't never knocked nobody in no second round. You got pillows for fists. That's why I kept running through you. Because you can't punch. You can't punch.
The last thing you're expecting is that this guy's going to take you out. So when he does, after everything's been said, the barbs have been traded, words have been exchanged, and you've painted yourself into a corner, making promises.
Your body gonna be laying right there. But this time around, you ain't getting up because I brought my 6-foot-inch nails and I bought a big hammer from Alabama, baby.
So it all goes sideways for you. All you can do is make excuses. All you can do is be in denial about it. The way that Deontay Wilder is in denial about it. Yeah, you might say that he doesn't want to make excuses, but you tell me, what is he doing if he's not making excuses when he starts talking about his costume and how weak his legs felt? What's he doing if he's not making excuses when he says that he wasn't there from the opening bell? What is he doing if he's not making excuses when he says these things? What is he doing?
You tell me.
What's that shit all about? Wilder is struggling to cope with this loss because of how he viewed Tyson Fury leading up to the second fight and what happened thereafter. For Deontay Wilder, it's a traumatic experience. For Deontay Wilder, it's night and day. The last thing he expected is that feather-fisted Fury is going to be the one that stops him. That's not what he signed up for. That's not what he bargained for. He signed up for a fight with a recovering coke addict with mental health issues battling obesity. That's what he signed up for, but he got more than what he bargained for.
At the opening bell.
Go in there, get knocked out, pushed around by this guy, your mind is still processing this. You're still in denial about it. Have come to terms with it. Put it to you this way. If Deontay Wilder really viewed Tyson Fury as one of the best, if not the best heavyweight that's out there, he wouldn't be taking this loss this hard. He'd be able to say, yeah, I lost the fight, but I lost the fight to a great fucking guy. This guy's best heavyweight in the world. That's if Deontay Wilder ever even viewed these two fights as the best versus the best. But in his heart of hearts, he knew what he was doing, and he knew why they chose that guy. They chose that guy not because they viewed him as being one of the best, but because they knew he was on the rebound.
Recovering.
So, the fall from grace,
Things a little more.
the descent is that much more violent. That's the result of that. This is not what you signed up for.
It's not.
You didn't think much of this guy. You didn't. You didn't think much of this guy. That's why you picked him. And because you didn't think much of this guy, that's why it's hard to process that this is the guy that beat you. The guy that you thought was on a rebound. The guy that you thought was a little more than just a suicidal cokehead on the comeback trail. That's the guy that beat you. And that's why you're in denial about it. Oh, it was the costume, it weakened my legs, the snakes in the grass, I wasn't there from the opening bell, all kinds of stuff, cool stuff, man. But that's why he's in denial about it. That's why he can't just say it was Tyson Fury's night, he was the better man, the night of the fight, and the third fight, we're gonna get that back. No, Deontay Wilder's gotta make it about something else. He's got to make it about something, anything else other than Tyson Fury beating him, because he can't wrap his mind around it. He wasn't expecting that this guy, this cherry pick gone wrong,
Would stop him.
he wasn't expecting that this guy was gonna do all that to him.
Would beat him.
The guy beat you. Over and done. There's another chance for you to avenge yourself. That's it.
And just in keeping with the theme of news coming out of the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury has vowed to continue fighting until he's 40 years old. He's quoted as saying, "I'm going to fight on until I'm 40 years old. I've been thinking about it, and there isn't much else to do anyways, so yeah, I may as well keep fighting. I don't see anyone out there that can challenge me anyway. I just flattened the best one out there. The toughest opponent out there is Deontay Wilder, and we all saw what happened to him the last time out. Along with the statement making triumph over Wilder, Fury has recorded a number of dominant wins in his career, including victories over Vladimir Klitschko, Derek Chisora, Christian Hammer, Otto Berlin, and Tom Schwartz. I don't buy into this talk from Tyson Fury, I don't. I'd sooner believe that this is one of any number of things Tyson Fury says in passing and then goes back on after a couple of days. Tyson Fury, as we all know, has some mental health issues, and I think that this is indicative in how many times he says one thing, then does another.
More or less.
He makes one statement, then follows up after a few days and contradicts that previous statement. This is tell-them age when it comes to Tyson Fury. I don't believe that he's going to be
still fighting,
sticking around till the ripe old age of 40. Tyson Fury strikes me as a guy who's a bit of a thrill seeker. He lives for the thrill. He thrives in rising to the occasion, and there has to be an occasion for him to rise to. But if when the smoke settles, he's the last man standing,
then what's going to be the occasion?
Think about this for a second. Tyson Fury is responsible for ending the reign, the long reign of Vladimir Klitschko. He is now also responsible for ending the reign,
Deontay Wilder.
4 or 5 year reign of Deontay Wilder, as WBC champion.
Did that too.
If that same Tyson Fury were to defeat his domestic rival, his arch nemesis in some ways, Anthony Joshua, and unify all the belts in the heavyweight division, if he gets that out of the way, if he gets that last brass ring, what occasions are going to be left for him to rise to? He thrives in competition. He thrives in rising to the occasion. But if there are no more occasions left to rise to, the only thing left for Tyson Fury is capitulation. Once he conquers all that was there to be conquered, met all of the challenges, what else is there left to do but to allow complacency to set in? The slow decay of time that ultimately would result in the capitulation of Tyson Fury.
Could happen.
Tyson Fury doesn't necessarily have the mental stability that makes for a long reign as a champion. He's not predictable in that way. He's not.
Not a routine guy.
The same thing that makes him so formidable is the same thing that on a long enough timeline, perhaps, would work against him. I can't see Tyson Fury sticking around long enough that the Daniel Dubois and Tony Yokas and Philippe Hergovics of the division, the up-and-comers looking to make names for themselves, I can't see him sticking around long enough that one of those guys finds themselves so confronted with him and he finds himself so confronted with them. I don't see that happening, and I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not Nostradamus. I can't see the future. All I can tell you is what I think, and if you want to know what I think, you're here, so I'll assume that you do. I don't believe for a second that Tyson Fury sticks around till the age of 40. Constant contradictory statements from Tyson Fury are indicative that this is a guy who doesn't have the mental stability that makes for that kind of a long reign.
After a while, he'd get bored.
If it all works out, he will have made vast sums of money, more than enough to retire on. So why the hell would he stick around till the age of 40? I just don't see it.